Hey guys, it's probably going to be a shorter video this time. I mean it this time, I swear to God, it's not going to be another 20-minute video. I don't have too much to say on this subject, but I want to do this video, and that's why I'm doing it late at night, you know, different lighting and stuff, because the light's on, it's pitch black outside. But yeah, I want to do this video and get it done while I'm still, you know, feeling this is a significant thing, you know, feeling it so that I can articulate it better than trying to write it down later on. So forgive me if it comes out a bit jumbled or whatever, but yeah, basically this video is going to talk about, I guess it's belief, really, to a certain degree, but mainly I'm trying to add some light to the shade of what I consider my past few videos to be, because I'm starting to nail in more and more with the focus being on, you know, emotional stress, background stress, all that sort of stuff, you know, the way your body reacts to a environment and stuff that I found really interesting in the paper I mentioned in the last video, you know, is like, what the fuck was it called? Intrinsic Memory? Something like that. I can't remember the words. I tend to not worry about the details these days. I just take the concept and I run with that when I'm researching stuff, because it doesn't pay to learn every different hormone in, you know, the body and how they all react, and each different specific reaction to stress. All you've got to know is how you're reacting to something and learn to cut back on it, and you'll improve in whatever area, you know, chronic ailments. I know a lot of people that I've talked to on here, they're IBS. Well, I say a lot of people, you know, a few that I've talked to on the subject. Sounds very, you know, different when you put it like that. But yeah, anyway, just, you know, some people, their digestive issues have recovered a lot. My digestion's improved. It was never that bad, but it has definitely improved. You know, my sleep cycle is stabilized. I have generally more energy in the day, but that's more of a general thing than an actual health thing. But I was completely lethargic at one point. You know, just the idea of getting up 3 feet to get food out of a fridge seemed like a lot of hard work. You know, I was just too tired to do that. And this was a couple of years back. But, you know, the bit that has fixed it, because I've been trying to address a lot of emotional stresses in my life for quite a long time. But it's only since the tinnitus spike, you know, 8 months ago, it's only since that happened that I've really been seriously trying to address it. You know, like, just properly during the day, taking the time to focus on it and try to address it. And that can be stressful. I've mentioned it a couple of times, I think, to certain people. And just, you know, trying to focus on the positive all the time. It's very difficult. I probably mentioned it in the last video. But yeah, it is very hard for someone who is not wired to receive information from the world in that way. You know, it feels very unnatural, you know, which is, you know, case in point for how fucked up the balance in my body is. You know, it feels very unnatural to be trying to focus in on all the positive stuff. It feels like hard work naturally in my day. A lot of the time I just want to sit down, and what will feel natural to me is sitting down and trying to tune things out, you know, go numb, basically, the numb response, you know, just, yeah, I'll play a video game, and, you know, just that sort of stuff, you know, I'll try to tune it out with stimulation, you know, a video game, a film, even to a fair degree going for walks and stuff. You know, I don't do that often, to be fair. I should probably do more of it, you know, because it's just calming in and of itself. But yeah, I do stuff like that to try to get away from the noise in my head. And I think what I've really got to do is embrace it and tune into it and just gradually filter out the bad stuff, you know, all the negative things. But yeah, the main point that I wanted to drive at with this video is that it's important not to get stressed by the fact that you're stressed, or trying to reduce stress, because, like I've said, you know, and again, check that paper out, it's a bloody goldmine for the info on, you know, the nervous system and how the body responds with stuff, you know, and it's not like incredibly detailed, it's deep enough that it makes the point, you know, which is the main bit. Like I say, just take the concepts and learn how to apply it. You don't have to be a bloody, you know, brain surgeon to understand it. You don't have to be working at that level of intellect to get the point and take something useful out of this stuff. Just get the concept and run with that, you know. Stress is bad, okay, find the stresses in your life, deal with that. And knowing how that stress can affect your life and that plays into what I want to talk about in this video as well, belief. You know, it can allow you to, even if you don't feel it, you can act on it, and doing the stuff can help you get good at it. 'Cause like I say, in my life, what I have to do is I have to consciously tune into more positive things and tune out the negative. It's something I have to deliberately do. It doesn't come naturally to me. I'm very wired to see the world as a stressful, you know, angsty place that just drains me all the time, and, you know, no resources and all this sort of things. So there's a scarcity mentality going on, control issues, blah blah blah. You know, it can end up being just a straight up venting video if I go too much with that. But like I say, it's very important to remember that there is a physical response in the body with stress, and this is why it's so hard to break it. This is why you don't often see chronic ailments naturally heal themselves, because it becomes very hard work, and we have to remember that. I've talked on it in other videos, about patience and things like that, and I sound like I'm advertising now. I won't do it again, I swear, it's not my intention. But, we have to be patient with these things, because really, on a physical level, it is a massive task that we're trying to accomplish. It really is. We're trying to rewire the way our bodies are built. We're trying to undo, in a lot of cases, mine in particular, like I say, I think it was called Intrinsic Memory or something. I can't remember the exact details, but basically everything you experience, everything that you go through in your life, you absorb that. Your body takes that knowledge in, more or less. It sounds a bit, new agey and zen-like and bollocks. But, it's quite true. You remember this stuff, you focus on the negative of it to filter through to find threats and things like that, and you compare your current life to that, which is probably the biggest issue I have, is that what caused my issues of chronic stress, it was back when I was about 14 when it started. I'm 26 now, I was about 14 at the time, and just, my life changed. In terms of like my mental outlook, it was a complete change, an absolute change. And the objective things that went on that caused that change, the bit that I find interesting is they're not that impressive to write on paper. They're pretty general. Basically I started to spend more time connecting directly with a person in my life. That's quite stressful. I'm not going to go into too much details because it will give it away exactly who it is, and I'm comfortable talking about myself and how screwed up I am and that, but I'm not comfortable talking about anyone else, connected to me and that, so forgive me for that. I wish I could give more details, but because you might find it helpful, not just so I can vent. But yeah, just basically I spent a lot of time very directly, 4 hours, 5 hours a day, the after school, the big chunk of my day, when I was meant to be coming home from school and relaxing and unwinding, and it was right, we've got to go do this, we're going to do it like this, you don't really get a say, you have to sit down and put up with it, you can't argue back about it. And this person was big, like when I was 14, I was about 5'10", I think, and probably 10 stone, so I was a twig, basically. I was a proper twig, and, healthy and all that, but just, I had no defense against someone that was bigger than me and, broader than me, so it was, in the back of my mind, to look back on it, it was physically threatening. Whether I think that consciously of the person or not, it was intimidating, it was very intimidating, so I couldn't run from this situation. There was no fucking way I could fight my way out of it, because this person, it was close, very close to me in my life. And again, I'm not, it brings up the fact that it's an issue for me, because I'm not comfortable saying that for the most part, but there's the issue, there's the bit I've got to deal with, it's why tinnitus is still a factor. I'm struggling to deal with this stuff, you figure it could go quicker if you learn enough about it or you get smart enough on a subject, but that's not how it works. We have to deal with these issues. So like I say, my outlook completely changed, and this went on the same sort of thing, day in, day out, constantly being stressed for about 2 years, and it was after a couple of months of it that it started to bleed into other areas of my life. It was that much of an experience, I took that much negative stimulus on, that I started to completely look at the world like that. I started to project that onto other areas, so it got to the point where even if I didn't come home and have that stimulation going on, that negative thing, I was seeing it everywhere. My body's responding to it from everything, and then you get certain health things start to crop up. Like I say, it was around that point that I started to put on weight, and it wasn't like a massive amount, it was just, I grew up as that rail thin kid that ate nothing but junk food, and then I become pudgy, still like it now. It's why I'm not doing the obesity videos yet. I don't feel fit to talk on it until I've gotten to that stage, even though I've had great success with it. But so anyway, to stay on point, I started to view the entire world like it. And to this day, that's an emotional issue. Even though I've improved quite a lot over the years, not enough to switch off the tinnitus, it's a long thing, and I believe the brain gets in the habit of firing off the neurons and stuff in that way. And so the tinnitus, I don't know how to put it, basically I think we have to be less stressed than we were before we got it, to get it to switch off. It's different getting it to come back, to come down, to come away, than it is just maintaining it when it's not there, you know. I don't know, I'm getting a bit, it's getting a little bit sidetracked, so I'll try to rein it in a bit. But, you know, these are sort of things that occur to me, you know, like, just, how come a lot of people can get stressed, you know, quite stressed chronically, and they don't get tinnitus? And, well, there's all sorts of things going on in the body. I'll look more into the research for that. And, you know, we'll look at it, because I think it would pay to start going into some of this stuff in detail. But yeah, anyway, I've just noticed how long I'm starting to ramble now, so I'll try to get back to the point. The point is, chronic stress is a big factor for all of us in the modern environment, because the modern environment is completely unnatural, like I've said before. Aid, I've just read your latest comment, you know, I'm not sure what time I put this out, but I just read your latest one, and that was really good. There was something in that you said about you're learning to be more content and relaxed as a baseline, and then the odd, you know, you think the odd spike is important, and yeah, that's completely what I took from the paper I was reading on about, you know, baseline levels of chronic stress and things like that. That's natural, that is normal, that is healthy. That's the way we should be. That's the way we should be wired. It shouldn't be the case that we're so relaxed and so calm and so, you know, switched off and not caring that we don't respond. We should respond to the world around us. But we should then drop back to a baseline of being calm and relaxed and basically optimistic. You know, your outlook of the future, how you know, what you think's gonna happen needs to change, because like mine's very negative, you know, just I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life basically, and that's stressful. You know, it's something that needs to change. It's also interesting because there's a physical thing going on, you know, there's a physical aspect of the body's wired into this state of pessimism, so you see it like that, you get stressed back in, you know, you interpret the world stressful, and again it's a negative loop. All of this is negative cycles we need to break, and that's why the main point of this video was to say, try not to be stressed about the fact that you're stressed. And it sounds ridiculous, but I know for a fact that's my main emotional issue that I'm dealing with in the day. My brain is always firing off, and I have gotten better. And the better I've gotten, the more the tinnitus has come down. But I'm always firing off, trying to dissect my day-to-day life into technical things and what I should be doing to improve, you know, tinnitus, whatever. You know, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. And the simple truth is, I've just got to stop tarnishing every experience I get with a negative brush, with a, you know, cerebral interpretation of everything as stressful or bad. And that's hard to do, but it's got to be done. And the big way I think we get around that is the way that I managed to break the cycle with the tinnitus and get it to start improving was just believing. You know, and I've seen another comment, I can't remember what the person's name was, I can't remember what the commenter's name was, or the thing they were talking about, the name, but they said they were watching someone's videos, you know, it helped basically save their life, and that was just, and I remember I checked a little bit out, and the content was basically belief, the way your beliefs, they affect the world around you. And yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting things, you know. I do believe we create the realities we've got, and we're getting into very spiritual territory there. But it's quite true, you know, if you're stressed out, you'll expect the world to be stressy, and you'll, you know, respond to it as if it is, and it will tend to match that, you know, like if you get a stressful person, or someone you think is stressful come along, they talk to you, you respond coldly or angrily or whatever, and they might get, you know, a stick up their ass about it, and then they will become actually stressful towards you. You know, so it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we've got to be careful with the way we think and the way we view the world, which, yeah, that's a bloody hard bit to change. I'm really struggling with it, and I don't expect the tinnitus to get significantly better until I start to fix that, you know, which again makes it stressful, because, yeah, all I've got to do is relax. Why can't I relax? I should be relaxing now. I can't fucking relax, you know, and blah blah blah, and the tinnitus doesn't improve, or it will go up for the day, you know, and that typically will stress you out. You know, like I say, I tend to just not focus on my tinnitus. It's quite loud now, actually, you know, even though I've seen definite signs of progress with it recently, but just, yeah, let it vary. You know, I've said it in other videos. I said I wasn't going to advertise the other ones, don't watch them. But yeah, you know, it will go up and down, that's fine, you know, and it's the same with stress as well. You know, your stress levels will go up and down. It's a terrible idea to think that we could control every bit of stress going on. The world's a big place, there's all sorts of stimulation coming in, so we've got to be realistic about it. There's always going to be stress. It's how we deal with it and how we, you know, react to it. That's important. So belief plays into that a lot, because like I say, the big bit that got my tinnitus to start improving was seeing, Julian's videos on the subject, reading that info. It seemed sound. I had to throw myself into it. I understood intellectually that I wasn't going to get better until emotionally, the physical junk moving about and going on in the body. I knew I wasn't going to get better until that started to improve, so I had to throw myself into it 100% and just, right, the tinnitus is loud now, accept it. Don't worry about it as best as you can. It's hard to do when it's terrible. Believe me, I know, and I know how bloody condescending it sounds to say, just relax. It's not something you want to hear. But it's dead true. We have to break that cycle, and that will take quite a bit of conscious effort on our part to do it. And we have to do it, and we have to not worry about it so much as well. It's weird. I think I'm going in circles with this video, and it really is starting to go on a bit. It was meant to be short, like usual. But yeah, our belief affects how we're wired. The basic takeaway is our minds are very powerful, the subconscious parts, and we have to learn to line up with that. We can't fight it, and that's my problem. To this day, that's my problem. I'm trying to intellectualize emotional responses. I'm not tuning in properly to the feelings and going with them. I'm trying to cut them apart and control them, and that ain't gonna fly. It just doesn't work that way, because in doing that, I imprint so much stress and negativity onto things that should just, you should just let them be, So, yeah, start to believe you can get better, basically. And yeah, we're really getting into spiritual territory here, but, it's what we've got to do. The big day-to-day thing I have to do right now to improve my tinnitus right now from this point forth is just believe that relaxing and living my life and just not worrying about this crap. I have to believe genuinely and emotionally. I have to feel it, not think it. I have to believe that I can get better just by relaxing. And then I have to go do it. And I'm certain it's quite true for a lot of you as well in certain areas. We've all got tinnitus watching this, so we'll all have similar issues, or we're all responding in a similar way. So, there's common ground there. But yeah, so be aware of the way you're thinking about things, be aware of the way you're responding to the world, and try to be impartial. I guess we're getting in, this is Zen-like, this part doesn't just sound it, this is Zen-like. Be aware of it, don't worry about it, almost observe it and just take it on board, and yeah, try to influence it. Don't try to force it to change, don't try to, kick it into line, which is my problem. That's how I try to do everything, because I say I'm chronically stressed, I'm used to having to get anything going in the world. I'm used to having to put up with a lot of crap and then just hammering the hell out of it to get it to go. I'm used to everything being hard work, So yeah, that it needs to change for all of us, and belief can go a long way into doing that. So yeah, I think that about covers it. I don't know if this is any good, but it's damn late, and I want to get this done while it's still sort of fresh in my mind. So yeah, apologies for it being crap, like usual. But yeah, so yeah, be aware of your thoughts, try to be impartial about it, and just take them on board. Don't fight what your body is feeling, don't fight what you're thinking or feeling and all that. Try to line up with it, understand why, and just, accept that it can change, and it will if you change. So yeah, I think I roughly got it. I don't know, trying to get a nice summary, but it never works like that. Just, read that paper I posted in the last video. Don't watch the video, it's crap. But read the paper, it's really good. It's motivating me to let go more intellectually and to connect more with my body and feel more, and to stop worrying, because yeah, that's a big bit. We've got to unwind, and it's hard to do, and it's hard to talk about, and it's hard to actually get on and do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to cut this before it hits 20 minutes. That's my goal. As long as it's less than 20 minutes, it's a short video. So there we go. Yeah, I hope this helps, guys. I hope it's not too rambly, and yeah, nice talking to you again. I'll see you next time. Bye.